let's go. Let's make some predictions. That's why everyone's here. They want to hear us preview and talk about what we think might go down this weekend. Let's start with some teams at the top of the table. Some teams who are going head to head. A new number one who will try to stay number one. Orlando Pride versus Washington Spirit. This one kicking off on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We've got, let's just call it what it is. We've got a number one team going up against a bottom table team. Lisa, how much does current form and standing play a role for you right now in making a pick in this game? Who you got? You got a winner, loser? You kicking things off with a draw? Let me know what you're feeling.
I think the standings play so much into this pick and this game. That's why we're starting the episode talking about Washington Spirit and Orlando Pride. Washington is the only team that is still undefeated across the first 7 weeks of play. They got a 1-0 late penalty kick stoppage time winner last week over Angel City. And with that win, Washington takes 15 points. They move into first place. And not just on the offensive side of the things, they're scoring goals, of course. That's literally how you win games and pick up points. But they've got the stingiest defense, Washington does, in the league. They've only got 5 goals against. And when you look at their attacking presence, whether it's Trinity Rodman, Ashley Sanchez, Ashley Hatch, Andy Sullivan in the midfield, they just have so many great pieces coming together at the right time. Then you got to zone in a little bit on Ashley Hatch in this one because she got the late penalty kick game winner against Angel City last weekend for Washington Spirit. However, Ashley Hatch against Orlando Pride has 9 career goals, right? And she has scored in the last 6 regular season matches for Washington Spirit against Orlando Pride. That is the longest streak of appearances with a goal against a single opponent in NWSL history. And that goes to Ashley Hatch. And you know that she wants to go out and get another goal in this game for Washington Spirit. At the top of the table, they're hitting their form right now. Washington is just doing all the right things at this point. They are on the road, so they'll travel and play Orlando. And Orlando's on a bit of a streak of their own. 3 games unbeaten for the Pride, and they've conceded just 1 goal in those last 3 games. Anna Morehouse has solidified herself between the sticks in goal for Seb Hines and this Orlando side because she's played those last 3 regular season games that have helped them be undefeated. Now, Orlando's coming off a 0-0 draw against Gotham. So their goal scoring has slowed down a little bit. Remember, it was 3 goals to get their first win over San Diego. Then it was just 1 goal and now a 0-0 draw against Gotham. I think Washington's going to take the win on the road in this one over Orlando. They're going to stay at the top of the table. Maybe not a crazy scoreline win. I could go narrow with this one, but I still think Washington is going to get the W.
I don't think that's unfair to try to play with a score line a little bit because we haven't seen. Look, I love what we have seen out of the Spirit. I want to preface this, before we get into this, but something that we haven't really seen are kind of like big blowout kind of score lines from the Spirit just yet this season. And there's still time to get there. We're in what we're considering this kind of second quarter of the season. We're not quite at the halfway point just yet, but the Spirit are looking like a team that have figured some things out, or at the very least have bought into new head coach Mark Parsons and what they want to present on the pitch in terms of tactics going up against other teams, and how so much of that is going to get funneled through that lethal attack, starting with Sanchez, that they always want to try to find her as the main outlet. And then you've got Rodman in MVP form, and then Hatch, who's leading the way in goals this season. So I am also going Spirit in this one, but I want to see a heavy scoreline for the Spirit, and I want to see it against a team. We're getting to a point, like I said, we're not at the halfway point yet, but there is nothing wrong with looking at current teams and their current form, where they're at the tables, and say, this team right here, this number one team, should wreck this other team over here.
Yeah.
And I want to see it. I really, really do. So I'm going to go Spirit. And if we're putting a scoreline on it, I want to see goals.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see them come in 90-minute stoppage time off a penalty. I want to see them in the run of play.
I respect that. Yeah. I think we need to see him in the run of play. And the confidence for someone like Ashley Hatch has grown and is continuously growing. She's getting shots off. She gets just like a moment of time and space away from a defender and she rips a shot. But you're right. I mean, it's number 1 against number 10. This should be Washington. They should take it. But Orlando's had stingy defenses, right?
Yep.
They've only conceded 1 in their last
Yep.
3. I like the ideas though that you have. I like it. We're both going Spirit.
Can't wait to talk about how we were incorrect. It's always getting nervy when we start off the show with a similar pick. Let's pivot to another pair of teams who are at the upper half of the table. We've got OL Reign versus Gotham FC. I'm so excited for this match. When we're looking at actual team standings, it's basically number 2 versus number 3 right now. They're both level on total points with 13. So maybe that's where the similarities end in terms of where things are with these two teams. So who are you picking in this one and why, Lisa?
I love this matchup. One of my top to watch of the weekend with OL Reign. Last week, they stumbled and they fell. They snapped their 7-match unbeaten streak in a 1-0 loss to North Carolina Courage. However, OL Reign has not lost consecutive matches in a single season since the summer of 2021. And I don't think that's going to happen again. I don't think OL Reign take an L to Gotham in this one. But with Gotham, they're coming off a 0-0 draw to Orlando. They've got 13 points on the season, which equals their total of last year. So they're already looking better than they did in 2022. But defensively, when you look at goals against for both OL Reign and Gotham, they each have 6. That is tied for the second best defense in the NWSL, just behind Washington Spirit with 5 goals against. So it's really tough to score against both of these sides. Abby Smith, goalkeeper for Gotham, has really come into form, and she has done such a good job. I think she got save of the week last week, at least for me. She got save of the week last week for Gotham in that draw against Orlando, just coming up so big in saves. It's going to come down to a 1 goal in this one, who's going to get it at this point. But I could see this as a draw. I think I'm going to give my draw to this one. I don't think OL Reign goes back to back with 2 losses, 2 consecutive losses, but I'm not sure if one side's going to be able to squeak it out. I'm thinking like a 1-1 draw in this one.
I feel that this was tough for me. I was thinking a little bit, maybe, is this going to be my draw? Is this where I'm going to center things in on? Narrow loss for OL Reign off of this previous week. We've got Gotham, like you mentioned, holding on for a scoreless draw against the Pride, and now it's going to be these two teams going up against each other, I believe, for the first time in the regular season. So there's going to be some new things that are going to be introduced as both of these two teams go head to head. I'm a little curious about what head coach Juan Carlos Amoros is going to present with this Gotham FC side against Laura Harvey versus, when he was with the Dash last year. It's different personnel. How are you going to line them up against a pretty deep bench in OL Reign? And I think maybe you have to look at availability reports a little bit as well. Olivia Vandergat available and back in trainings. Is this going to be a player that is healthy enough to get tagged with a start? A player that I know we're both high on, and we like what she brings to this team in OL's midfield there. So I think that could maybe be something where we see a possible cool one-on-one kind of duel and matchup where it's Olivia Vandergat and Chrissy Mewis. But again, it's just we're doing this before any starting 11s drop and things like that. So I think it's going to come down to maybe those individual battles down on the pitch, which is why I'm in agreement with you, where I think it's going to be a narrow scoreline. You have it as a draw.
I do.
But I'm going to go with Gotham in this one. I want to say they're going to pick up the upset, and I'm going to say Lynn Williams is going to get back to scoring goals. And hopefully we see a lot of shots and we get some high drama in this one. So
I think we could see a lot of shots for sure.
Yeah, we both agree only one's gonna go in though. So we'll see. I mean, that might be what it comes down to is that goalkeepers battle. I mean, I'm really excited to see Valentellis Joyce in one end and Abby Smith in the other, and maybe that's also why we think it's gonna be narrow. So you're going draw. I'm going Gotham.